first day in Phnom Penh, I recommend just easing into the culture and the history and not going to the killing fields right away. I recommend just going to the local sightseeing spots, the monuments, and I recommend starting with Wat Phnom, which is a park, but it's also a temple, and inside you will hear beautiful music, Buddhist music, and you're able to pray if you know how, and it's just a beautiful experience coming up here. It's actually a big roundabout in the middle of the city, but other than that it's beautiful, and a tuk-tuk can take you here, and my hotel is so close by, so I just walked here, and walking around is amazing. It gives me peace, and yes, really recommend just starting here. You're gonna get like a feeling of the local religion and how connected they are to it. Oh yeah, and by the way, it's raining. I'm here in rainy season, which is between June and October or something, and yeah, out of nowhere it starts pouring down. So I have a rain jacket, and if you don't, you should bring one, because out of nowhere it starts pouring. After you visit to Wat Phnom, I recommend going to the Royal Palace, which is a really nice site. But on your way, you can go along the river walk, where you see the Phnom Penh skyline, which is really nice. And you can also throw in a workout if you want to do that, sponsored by Herbalife Nutrition themselves. And when you then arrive at the Royal Palace, it might not be open, but it's a beautiful site anyway. If you have some more time this day, I recommend going to the National Museum of Cambodia. There's a lot of statues and stuff going on right there. You'll learn about Buddhism, and if you're lucky, you might see some monks there as well. The National Museum here in Phnom Penh will show you so much of the Angkor Wat era. So it's all about Buddhism, and you see so many nice statues, and it's beautiful to come in here. You have to pay $10, which is quite a lot for being in Southeast Asia, and you only spend around like 1.5 hours in here, but still it's nice just to come here and see all the statues, and it is a beautiful building that you get to come into. So when the sun sets and the darkness arrives, everybody goes to the night market, and I'm gonna take you there now. It's a lot of clothes, there's a lot of food, so this is one of the markets that you would like to go to. up absolutely everything, all types of clothes, jewelry and belts, whatever you want. They also have food, local food, so you can do everything here, have your night meal here and do some shopping. I just did some shopping and the prices can be a bit high, but you just let them know that they're too high and then they'll go down on the prices. On your second day in Phnom Penh, I recommend coming to the killing fields. I'm here now and this story is so horrible that I really want to throw up because it affects me that much.
Straight after the Vietnam War ended in 1975, which had extended to Cambodia and Laos, the Communist Party, Khmer Rouge, took control of Cambodia and started strategically killing off ethnic minorities and anyone considered an intellectual. Their goal was to create a self-sufficient agrarian society. The idea was influenced by Communist China. The genocide went on for almost 4 years before the Vietnamese military invaded the regime. In total, it is assumed that 1.5 to 2 million people were killed in the Khmer Rouge regime. In preparation for this day, I watched the movie First They Killed My Father that tells the story of how the regime took over control. So watching this movie made it easier for me to understand what had happened in the places that I was now visiting.
To come here and learn about what happened, the genocide, it's so important, although it's horrible images. There were so many mass graves here, and in the museum you get to learn about who did all of this and how many mass graves and stuff like that. And what is also interesting, that after the genocides were all done and the Pol Pot regime was over, they came back, not they, but Cambodian people came back here and found all the mass graves, and after that they built roofs or buildings on top of the mass graves to always remember. And the buildings here are beautiful, and one of the buildings is the museum. So when you're in the museum, you're standing on top of a mass grave, which is, it's heavy, but it's so important to come here and to remember and to understand that this country has gone through a lot. Right after Vietnam War, this happened. So yeah, it's a small country and they've been through too much. After the killing fields, I recommend going to the S21 prison, where all the victims, well, most of the victims at the killing field came from. And yeah, you get to see the rooms where they were held prisoners. Some of them were quite big, they were torturing chambers, and the smaller ones were where they like sit the entire day with so many rules, what they were allowed to do and not to do. And I really recommend going there too. And yeah, there's a 91-year-old man sitting outside with his book that he wrote because he survived the prison. I already bought a book from a survivor from, or I don't know if it's a survivor, I think it is, from the killing fields.
If I told you we can just run away, so come, my darling, let me help.
I now come to the central market where I'm gonna go and see if there is some shopping to do. It's supposed to be a really big market, and it's indoors, and the building is beautiful. So let's go. This place is really big, but it actually gives me a feeling of Grand Central Station, New York. It's so big, and like the way it is, like the architecture of it is like, yeah, it's not a mall, it's more like a train station. This mall had one big area of just fresh food, like fresh fish, meat, vegetables. One area of home articles, like everything you need back home. And so much jewelry in the middle, because it's like a huge like circle, and then there's like 4 feet that is sticking out of the circle. So in the middle is like a lot of jewelry, and in one of like the legs that sticks out is so much curtains and stuff like that, and another one is like full of clothes. You can walk there forever. I found what I wanted to find, as always, yarn and postcards, and then I just walked around forever. And yeah, now it's raining, I don't know where to go, but maybe I'll find some a coffee shop or something.
On your third day, I recommend going to check out the local markets, the local streets of the city, and just checking out how people live, how they work, and how they interact with each other. There's so much going on in the streets, and you can learn so much about the local people just by checking out the buildings. After having such a heavy day yesterday, it's nice just to walk around and get your mind on something else, and just checking out this place before you leave, or maybe you have some few more days here. It's nice just to walk around and get to know the local people. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you for your upcoming trip to Phnom Penh, and if you're not going to Cambodia anytime soon, maybe it's nice just to check out how things are on the other side of the world or in another country. So if you like this video, please give me a like, and maybe you want to subscribe as well, because there are coming so much more stuff from Cambodia and from other countries that I'm going to, such as the Philippines, Malaysia, I'm going to Bali, and some other countries. So yeah, come travel with me.